Hey everybody, and welcome to another absolutely amazing episode of The Pain Lair. Listen, it's come to my attention that again, the infamous belly to belly of me and Knobs is being talked about. Mick's talking about it. I just watched an episode of Mick's show. And I think I'm finally, I've been pretty silent about this my whole life, and I'm going to set the record straight, in my opinion, for the last time. This is the last time I will ever tell you the story of what happened to Knobs and why he's hurt. If you want to know the truth, then you can hear what I'm about to tell you and you can believe it or not. But this is exactly what happened in the dressing room that night. I knew there was something wrong with the relationship with Mick Foley and I was really confused. I didn't understand why we were falling apart, because I thought we were doing great together. I thought the fans were loving what we were doing together. I thought the fans were behind us. I thought the fans really loved the tag team of Cactus Jack and Max Payne. I really envisioned us being world champions, but it became pretty damn obvious that Mick didn't feel the same way that I did, and it became overtly apparent in a lot of things that we did together, and just comments. But it got to the point where I was just delivered the finish of the match. I had no input into the construction of the match. I was denied everything in that tag team. I never got to have any kind of a say in anything that we did. And finally, when we went to Albany, a very, very, very special person in my life told me something once when I was in Japan. His name is Bill Eadie, and I've told Bill recently how much he means to me and how much what he said to me meant. But he said something to me, and I loved Bill. He was there on tour with Dickie Murdoch, and Chris and I were just enamored, and a couple little puppy boys wandering through all the magnificent towns of Japan with the likes of Bill Eadie and Dick Murdoch. That's not bullshit. That's the real deal. And Bill Eadie will tell you that. But Bill Eadie, for some reason, took a shine to me and was very kind and very, very willing to impart his theories of the business to me. And one day before he left, he looked at me and he said, "Daryl," he goes, "you need to know something." He goes, "There's going to come a point in your career when the time has come to say no. And if you don't say no, you're going to be really hard on the guy in the mirror. So you better, that's just, if I can give you any advice at all, I like you, and I really hope this helps you out." And I thanked him implicitly. And as you can imagine, that had a tremendous impact on my life. And anybody who worked with the Nasty Boys, including Arn Anderson, and this is a big fuck you to Arn Anderson, because you know what, Arn, you're full of shit. If you look at that throw, you'll see exactly what I'm about to tell you is the fucking truth. Knobs hurt himself. I didn't hurt him, and I'll explain right now. So we're in the dressing room, and Knobs and Sags and Mick are all over in the corner planning their match that I'm going to just be told what to do and have to execute. And I've put up with it, sorry, for the last time. And I've got these words ringing in my ear from the famous Bill Eadie going, "Max, there comes a time in your life when you got to say no." And guess what? I said no. No. I'm going to go get my shit in tonight. It's my turn to go over there and say, no, I'm going to make sure that I get my things in tonight, because you guys always make sure you get your stuff in. But there's never been a time where Max Payne got to shine. Oh, sorry, Max. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Now they're a little scared because I had the audacity to stand up, and because I've never, ever had the audacity to voice my opposition to people like Knobs and Sags, who anybody will tell you in the business have hurt everyone in the business. In fact, I'll tell you this. After I hurt Knobs, when I walked in the dressing room, I always hung out with the job guys because they were much cooler to hang with. Their egos were so much smaller. And when I walked in that dressing room, every single job guy that night gave me a standing ovation. And I'm not talking down about job guys. I love job guys. And they all know it. Bill Payne, you know how much I love you. All the guys that, there's a number of them. I wish I could remember all their names right now, but I loved them. They know I did. I hung with them. And I'll never forget. And there was never a more proud moment. And quite honestly, after that, everybody that had ever worked with Knobs and Sags said, even though they probably were lying to me, said, get up to a nicer guy, because Knobs and Sags were notorious for hurting everybody they worked with. They never expected, they weren't, I guess you're not allowed to give the great Knobs and Sags a fucking receipt if they should happen to hurt you in a match. Well, I'd had enough. And I said, I walked over to Mick and Knobs and Sags, and I said to all three of them, okay, this is my night, and I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to get my shit in, and either you're going to trust me and go with me, or you're going to get hurt. Now, that doesn't say that I said to Brian Knobs, oh, if you don't go with me, I'm going to fuck you up. What I said to him was, if you don't trust me and let me do my thing, you're going to get hurt. Insert the throw. I have Brian's. Examine the throw frame by frame, Arn, so I can explain to you a little bit about wrestling that you profess to know so much about. I was trying desperately to throw Brian Knobs over his left shoulder that I had trapped so I could safely throw him out on the apron onto the floor, because we were supposed to go out there and do something out there next. So my goal was to trap his arm, protect him all the way to the ground. He takes an easy flat bump on his back and slides out of the fucking ring. But Brian decided he was going to control the bump. He didn't trust me, and I told him he would get hurt if he didn't trust me. And if you watch, Brian tries to do the traditional straight over his head knob or bump, when I was trying to give him a Steiner throw, which even Mick acknowledged in his last thing. I was trying to throw Brian over his left shoulder. Nothing would have happened to him. Nothing. But Brian didn't trust me, and like a moron, he took the chance. And he's the one that called that. He's the one that decided in the middle of a throw, when all he would have had to done was wrap his body around me, and I would have delivered him to the ground as easy as I delivered myself. But he didn't trust me. So now, Arn, put that in your pipe and smoke it, and I'll face you anywhere you want to be to face me on that, and I'll face Knobs and Sags anywhere, and I'll face Mick Foley anywhere to defy me that didn't happen. Exactly as I said it just happened. But guess what? See, I'm not really a badass. Everybody thinks that I did this to hurt Brian Knobs. I didn't. I would never in a million years. Let me just say this again. I have never in my life, in a wrestling match, intentionally hurt another wrestler. That defies the norm of the business. Brian Knobs hurt himself, went straight to Hogan, buried me. If you don't believe me, go talk to everybody that knows after that happened. He blamed me when he knows damn good and well it was his own stupidity that cost him that. He hurt himself. And I couldn't stop him. I begged him to trust me, and he wouldn't. So is it my fault that he didn't trust me? Was I taking a risk? I'd made it clear. Trust me, and you'll be fine. So I don't know what else to say. I guess I was never supposed to have any of my moves be a part of the wrestling matches with the almighty Knobs and Sags, and obviously Mick Foley. None of them ever talk about this part of that match. They only talk about the audacity and how horrendous the bump is. Well, next time you do that, ask Brian why he didn't trust me. Ask Brian if what I'm saying right now isn't the absolute truth, and I'll face Brian Knobs anywhere he wants to face me publicly. That's how serious I am about this. I'm tired of hearing about this fucking throw. I did not intend to hurt Brian Knobs. I intended Brian Knobs to do what I did for him every single night. Trust him. because I intended on taking care of him. But because Brian Knobbs has this incredible character flaw that he can't trust anybody, I know you might find that hard to believe, he couldn't trust me. And guess what? He hurt himself. I didn't hurt him. I couldn't change a throw in midair. No one can. No one could have reversed what had started. Once the dominoes fell, Brian made the decision. He made the decision to take the bump out of my hands and put it in his own. And as a result of that, I was too big and too strong for him to break out of the arm I had trapped so he could protect himself, because I was trying to protect him. I was trying to do the right thing. So now you have the whole story. You can believe that if you want to. But trust me when I tell you, this story I just told you is merely the tip of the iceberg to the treachery that was going on in my life at that time and the people behind the scenes that were trying to destroy me. And unfortunately, there were a lot. And all of the company I talked about just now, I'll leave it at that. Hey, I'm Max Payne. You've been on the Pain Lair, fed up. But you know what? Now I got it out of my system. Don't have to talk about that one no more, because I won't talk about it again. Somebody wants to talk about it, then we talk about it in a forum with Nick and with Knobbs and with Sags, and I'll say exactly what I just said to their faces because they know it was all true. And Knobbs knows the truth too. He just had to blame somebody because he looked like a fool, and he blamed me. And he'll tell you that, oh my God, Payne's so stupid. That's the stupidest thing. It's not. It's the truth. It's a fact. And that's exactly the way it happened. I'm Max Payne. This is the Pain Lair. And until the next time on my show, thank you for being here, the hidden. Then.